In this season on the Big Talk YouTube channel, I am going to be showcasing the 9 speakers who performed at the Big Talk Academy's virtual showcase. These 9 speakers are so incredible and they all have very powerful, unique stories to tell. And I hope you will tune in for the entire season. Our first speaker today is Ming Shelby. She will be speaking Build a Herd Mentality. Ming is a national board certified educator who has dedicated her career to inspiring students, teachers, and administrators through positive learning experiences. She believes that courage is the critical ingredient for personal transformation, and she is now building a community of courage beyond the classroom to support kids and adults. You can also catch her sharing stories of courage so people can learn to thrive, not just survive, on the Courage Up podcast. Ming?
You've already asked 3 questions. No more. Get started on your work.
Did I say you could leave your seat? Go back to your seat and wait for me to call on you.
You're taking too long. Hurry up. We're all waiting for you.
Ming, stop talking. Turn around and face the front. These are words that I often heard from my teachers. You might have heard or used similar phrases because these are traditional classroom management strategies that are often sent around a herd mentality, where students are lumped in a group together, move, think, and act as one. It's similar to an elephant or water buffalo all moving together at the watering hole, or they're marching together down a path. Just like these herds of animals are doing the same thing, kids are expected to take bathroom breaks together, form straight, quiet lines everywhere they go. While it's important to have structure, it's also important to have flexibility. Being flexible allows our students to grow and embrace their individuality. In my last 14 years in education in various roles as a teacher, a mentor, coach, director, I learned that kids just want one thing: to be heard. When I was in first grade, I remember our assistant principal, Mrs. Paul, would be at the edge of the sidewalk every morning conducting where the kids would go, bus drivers, parents. It also almost reminded me of an air traffic controller directing everyone every which way. Every day I'd hop off the bus, look for Mrs. Paul, and head straight to her, and she would give me this big, warm embrace, greet me by my name, listen genuinely when she asked me how I was doing, and always ended it with, "Have a great day." That single act was the one thing I look forward to every single day. I loved the constant connection that I had with a caring adult, and most importantly, she made me feel seen and valued. I could be my crazy, bold, authentic self in that small moment. According to the Search Institute, it says that if there is a caring adult that has built a positive relationship with a student, students are more likely to succeed academically and are motivated to continue to do well. Along the way, teachers learn different classroom management strategies. There's one that you might be familiar with called the popsicle stick, where teachers draw your name and call out who it's going to be. Joey, your turn to share, in an effort to switch up who's sharing, not just the kids who are raising their hands. When I was an instructional coach, I observed a 5th grade teacher who used this method, but he had a little bit of a switch up. It was, number 2, it's your turn to share. Who's number 2 again? Maybe you're surprised by this as much as I was, but when we deduce kids to a number, our aim is for compliance. Later on, this teacher and I shared and debriefed, and we kind of talked, why would you choose to use a number instead of the student's name? He couldn't really come up with an answer, but I shared, when we choose to use students' names, we're telling them that they matter, we care about them, and that they're an integral part of this community. When we shift from a herd mentality, H-E-A-H-E-R-D, to a herd mentality, H-E-A-R-D, We take time to hear students rather than dismiss them. And students believe that their ideas and opinions matter. They're allowed to distinguish themselves from one another and embrace who they are. They can showcase their uniqueness rather than blending in with the crowd. The classroom becomes a community of shared ownership. It's not my classroom, it's our classroom. When I was a young teacher teaching kindergarten and first grade multi-age, I had a student in my class who was extra special. Maybe some of you have that extra special student in your heart and wished you did just a little bit better. During carpet time, he would roll all over the floor. I tried to get him to stay in one spot. While we were reading a story, he would get so excited, he would shout out because he wanted to tell us what he predicted was going to happen. I tried to get him to wait his turn. Finding it humorous now, but I was very frustrated back then, and I decided I had to do something differently. So I asked myself, what can I learn from him? I started to pay attention to him as a whole student, not a student that I was trying to get to conform with what the rules and regulations are. I found out that he loves nature and numbers and figuring out how those all work together. I learned about who he was beyond just a student. Our interactions became joyful connections instead of frustrating power struggles between the two of us. I realized that I was trying to get him to be who I wanted him to be, not who he was. He taught me to pay attention to what he was saying, to create space and acceptance for him to show up exactly as who he was. This is what a herd mentality fosters. There was one math lesson that I taught that, let's just say, it wasn't my best. So I decided I needed to have a redo, talk to the students. So the next day I went and asked the students, all right, give me some feedback. What do you think? What went well? What didn't go well? I later shared this with a colleague and she goes, you asked the kids what they thought? Why would you do that? Honestly, I just wanted to do better. And where else would I get honest, raw feedback? Straight from the kids. I learned that they thought I did a great job, but they were still confused on how to use a ruler. So I'm grateful that they were honest, kind, and felt comfortable to share such great feedback with me in our community in this safe space that was created. We underestimate the power that teachers hold over our students from our simple title as teacher. If we don't have a safe space where they feel courageous enough to speak their truth, be their authentic self, are we the educators that they deserve? School is a sandbox of learning where a student gets to try different things, take risks, figure out who they are and who they want to be. Our role as teachers goes beyond teaching them just the academics. A friend sent me a tweet of a teacher sharing what one of his best mentors shared with him. Are your classroom rules and procedures about empowering your students, or are they about reinforcing your power over students? When teachers build a herd community, they give students freedom to be themselves, and those children turn into adults who embrace their individuality. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who would be not afraid to speak up, ask for what they need, advocate for self and others? Every kid deserves to be heard. When kids have the power to speak, they turn into adults who speak up and use their voice. Thank you very much.
If you are interested in speaking at the virtual showcase like these incredible speakers, go to thebigtalkacademy.com and get on the wait list. This 12-week certification program culminates in a virtual showcase for TEDx producers, conference organizers, podcasters, producers, and you will be featured on my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button and notification bell so you get access to my most recent video. And I love when you make notes in the comments, and I will always respond. Big love.